Hello and welcome back to Tales from the Age of Men. And we're fighting against Galadriel. Yes, she has apparently decided to leave her previous faction, well, obviously after they were eliminated, and she is now part of the Men of Dale. So, as you can no doubt tell, well, we're in a very different place now. We have knocked our ruby slippers together 3 times, and we're no longer, well, you know the saying. Okay, so otherwise, what we're going to do is we're going to be very, very careful here because I am actually not entirely sure what she even has. I just saw that she had a really, really low company size, and I thought to myself, okay, that sounds pretty good to me. That sounds, decent-ish. Don't really have to worry too much about... okay, yeah, they actually have some pretty decent-ish people. Bear in mind, I don't think she has a custom model yet or anything like that, so, but wait a minute, they've got cool looking capes. I mean, we're gonna see these guys sooner rather than later, probably, because I'm kind of hankering for an elven character. I think that might be pretty fun. Obviously, my trolls are probably gonna have a field day with these guys. They're probably not gonna be able to do too much to them. And, why am I using my sword on horseback? Am I an idiot? Yes. Yes, I think so. To a certain degree, yes. Anyway, the point is, we should be completely fine here. We obviously completely outnumber them. So, nothing really to write home about there. However, one thing to mention is I actually thought they might get a couple of kills, considering they do have really, really good bows and stuff like that. But I'm going to say it right now. I actually think playing against... I don't know, maybe playing against Isengard specifically is really kind of difficult because the Uruks have very good shields. And unless you have a really, really good, and I'm talking about critical mass, if you have a critical mass of archers, then you're probably going to be slightly better. I mean, these guys obviously have horse archers, as you can see, and they do seem to be doing a reasonably good job. Yeah, it's going to be kind of difficult to eliminate this guy. Whoa, he's got good... Look at his armor. What? He has so much HP. This is crazy. Did you see that? He literally had so much HP. He was able to survive a 147... Was that 147 damage? I don't even know. I don't even know what I did now, but I did a lot of damage to him. Wow. Alright, well, elves are obviously known to be extremely, high-skilled, shall we say, and so it's going to be very, very difficult for us. So yeah, otherwise, I'm just going to be leveling everyone up, thank you very much, and we have taken her prisoner as well, and you know what that means. Yes, I actually think I am going to be... Should I execute her? The question is, do we want to? I don't know, I mean, it doesn't really do much for us, to be honest, because in the grand scheme of things... Yeah. Is that really going to get us anything? I don't know, because she's running around with an extremely small army, because that is just generally how elves are, of course. If they're recruiting elves, then of course they're going to have small armies. And yeah, I'm not sure. It might be an idea, actually. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think elves in general, I think they may have... I don't know, I think the units might take up too much party size. I could be wrong about that, obviously. I haven't tried them out or anything like that. But from what I've seen there, as you just saw, this guy had, what was it? What did he have? Like 21 people or something like that? And if I went in there, I mean, obviously I'm never going to be able to catch him. That is one thing that you have to be very aware of. There is nothing that I personally or any other extremely high capacity army can do to catch these guys. Because, I mean, look, he's moving at 3.9. I'm moving at 3.3. I will never catch up with this fellow in a million years. It's actually quite surprising. He's only moving at, 4.9, and I'm moving at 4.1 now, but still. But yeah, he's just going to move so much faster because he has a small army. And, I mean, that's the thing. I was talking about, speed bonuses and various race, race-affiliated, faction-affiliated bonuses in the previous episode. And from from this perspective, I'm now thinking that maybe that's not even necessary, because the elves, as you can see, due to the party size, they move so fast. It's actually not even, you know, not even funny. I guess it's actually pretty decent, though. Oh, yeah, by the way, the only reason why I even made that, that suggestion is because the map is so large. That's it. That's the only reason why I made that suggestion, just because I would like to traverse the map just a little bit quicker, and having an inbuilt speed bonus with a variety of factions, variety of races, whatever you want to call them, they would make a big difference. You know, any kind of bonus like that would make a big difference to how long it takes you to get from point A to point B. But obviously, the point is, do you want it to take a long time? Well, I mean, that's up to the, you know, that's up to the modding team. You know, do you want it to take a longer time to get to, you know, a certain place? Maybe you do, because obviously in this case, if there is, let's just say, you know, a completely hypothetical example here, let's just say that a troublesome Uruk party is besieging your town of Kravod, and you are trying to get there in time before they destroy the walls. Well, obviously in that situation, a speed bonus would be very, very useful. But then you have to think, on the other hand, well, maybe the Uruk party deserves to be able to besiege the town without being, you know, interfered with or whatever. But I don't know. I guess it just, as I say, it just very much depends on how you want the balancing to be, because it is your creation after all. And, you know, hypothetically, you know, you're going to make the decisions that you want to make, obviously. You know, it's not going to be, you know, it's not going to be me making them. It's not going to be anyone else in the community making them. It's going to be the team. It's going to be the team that makes whatever it is. I'm not even just talking about mods here. I'm talking about everything. I'm talking about games, talking about movies, talking about everything. Every single decision is always that of the creator. And, you know, they have to, you know, ultimately have the final word there. And all I can do is provide feedback, and if that feedback is actually good, because maybe other people also think it's good, or maybe they think it's bad, you know, who knows. But yeah, in general, that's all I can do. Anyway, I am actually a little bit... Wait a minute. What's actually going on here? It says they're eliminated, but it actually doesn't. What? Look, it says they're wounded, but it doesn't... It says they're not actually wounded. Okay, that's a little bit weird. I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. Okay, I guess we'll just... actually, you know what? I'm going to save. I'm a little bit worried. I'm a little bit worried about crashes. We did have a crash in the previous episode, but as far as I'm aware, the creator did actually comment and say that they had fixed it. It was actually a some kind of map issue. So I very much appreciate that. Thank you very much for letting me know. Obviously, it's not fixed in my current version, but it will be fixed in the next version that is publicly available. Hopefully at some point in the future. Otherwise, let's go on in. Alright, so obviously this particular fief, it's a desert map. Yeah, you should probably just try to ignore this as best as you can. And obviously, if you're currently sitting in an entirely dark room, or in a slightly darker room, and your screen is rather bright, you may want to consider turning it down, because it's very bright, I gotta say. Very, very bright indeed, but that's okay. Anyway, there is actually something to mention here. The garrison has Isengard units. Yes, I'm not entirely sure what actually happened with that, but there are Uruks working for the enemy, which I'm not entirely sure how lore accurate that really is. Obviously, I mean, I have played Shadow of War and everything, and you know, I mean, I don't really know. I'm not really. I mean, that's not really lore accurate. Generally, kind of, it's sort of more loosely based. But I'm talking about the Uruks and the Orcs and their behaviors. That's what I'm mostly referring to when I make that comparison. But yeah, how likely is it that some Isengard Orcs and Uruks decide to work with and alongside men? How likely is it? Because I'm going to assume it's not very likely. So, you know, obviously in that case, I'd probably I would probably make a suggestion that maybe if there are Uruks and maybe even men as well, I'm actually not entirely sure. I feel like Rohan men would probably be like, yeah, I'm out of here. I'm not gonna work for the Uruks either. I mean, it is possible, I suppose, that men can be corrupted. But is it possible for Uruks to be saviors of the universe? Probably not. But yeah, obviously, again, this is just feedback, and it's just, you know, up to the modding team. It's not up to me. And generally, I'm actually not entirely sure. I guess I don't know. I mean, I suppose if you want to keep that strict division, that strict line down the middle of good and evil, then making it so that you cannot capture Uruk prisoners as a good, or should we say not capture, but cannot convert them, let's just say that, you know, so that you cannot convert them to your side. I think that probably makes sense, because obviously being able to capture them is good, because then you can sell them for money, because obviously that's a primary gameplay mechanic of Bannerlord itself. So you don't really want to be in a situation where you're completely nullifying one of those mechanics by disabling it or whatever. Anyway, looks as though there is a person stuck somewhere, or not. Huh. I am apparently stuck in here for some reason. There's zero on all sides. Okay. I guess I'll just retreat and we'll see what happens. A little bit perplexed as to what's going on here. Oh, it still says 200. I don't think so somehow. I'm going to send troops. No, that's a display bug. Okay, that's a display bug. Okay, that's kind of weird. I haven't seen that before. That is very, very strange. But yeah, okay. That was a display bug right there. Everyone was actually starved out. And as you can see right here, they were completely and 100% starved out. So yeah, we don't have to worry about them at all. And yeah, so I am actually going to be taking these, I think. I am actually going to be taking the loot here because we are starting to lose a little bit of extra cash. I don't really want to do that. I'd like to try to maintain as much as possible around 750,000 or more if we can. Something like that would be pretty good. And all we're going to do here is just going to queue up a bunch of extra buildings because you could see our loyalty is just absolutely going crazy, which is fantastic. Really, really love that. And so we're just going to go into the trade screen here, just going to sell everything that we have right now. There we go. In terms of that, then we can sell all of these. Technically, I think I am going to execute both of these. I might as well. I should have just transferred everyone, shouldn't I? Yeah, let's just transfer everyone and then just go and pick those two up. That is the easier way of doing it. Thank you very much. Okay, there we are. 59,000 actually for the prisoners. Very, very nice indeed. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to execute both of these guys, and then we're going to be going on and we're going to be moving to yes, all the way into the north. And I'm actually thinking about fighting these fellows. Yes, we're going to fight these guys. Thranduil's forces. I believe Legolas is also from there. I could be wrong, but I think he is. Anyway, I'll be right back. Alright, so before we actually embark on a very interesting little encounter here, you'll see exactly what's going on in just a moment. We're going to pick our Tactics 100th skill level perk. This is actually really... This is another one of these. Yeah. It's another one of these things. So basically being sent to... No offense, right? But being sent to confront bandits. Ooh, these perks are. I mean, they're just not very useful. This one is good. This one's fine because it's just a plus 3% damage when your troops are sent to confront the enemy. However, I do 100% believe that these kinds of bonuses are not very fun. Let's just say that, you know. I feel like these sort of base game perks really do need to be looked at in some way or another because look at this, 1% additional damage by your troops. And it's not even the entire army, it's just the formation, you know? So if you are the captain of, you know, whatever it is, you know, the infantry or whatever, then you're going to be getting 1% additional damage. I mean, if you think about how much 1% actually is, if a person does 100 damage, how much is 1% of that? You know the answer. You know the answer, yeah. It is just that useless, yeah. It basically does nothing, so... yeah, so we'll just take that. That's fine, I guess. I mean, the 3% when sending troops to confront the enemy, that's okay, and that's reasonably decent, you know, to a degree. If every single troop does 3% additional damage, or whatever it is, hopefully it's not a total thing, but I guess if it is a total thing and it counts every single unit, then I guess that's, or should we say it counts every single unit as a singular entity, then I suppose that's okay. But yeah, anyway, we're here. We're actually here outside one of the elves, fiefs. I'm a little bit worried about this because, I mean, you know what they're like. They have extremely good archers, and generally extremely good everything. To be honest, extremely good everything. And this is MIRKWOOD. Actually, this is MIRKWOOD, one of my favorite factions of the elves. I actually like MIRKWOOD a great deal. I've played as MIRKWOOD in the past, and yeah, well, we're gonna see. Are they okay? I mean, it says 134, but I don't think that's the case. They don't have 134. They oh, I see. Oh, wait a second. I think because of the capacity change, it's actually showing how much they would actually have if they were regular units. So they would have 134, but they actually have only 56. So they only have 56 troops available for battle here. However, their party capacity is actually 134. So technically there are 134, you know, shall we say the equivalent to 134 units in the garrison here. So that's very, very cool, actually. Okay, yeah, so that actually makes a big difference. Same thing with the militia as well. You can see here that there's 130. In actuality, there are 130, as in actual bodies, but the capacity of these guys equals 390. So that just goes to show that the militia, clearly, they are going to be quite dangerous. Sylvan Sentinels. I'm actually wanting to take a look at them. Have a look. Sylvan said, okay, these guys are, I mean, okay, this is what's really funny. I said, oh, the Sylvan Levy, they're not very good, are they? No, actually, they are fantastic. And the funny thing is, don't let the name fool you. Right? Don't let the name fool you, because, you know, we've you know, grown up, shall we say, knowing that Levy, you know, is a very low-level unit usually, right? You know, so, you know, all the way from Warband, seeing these peasant levies and so on and so forth, and then in Bannerlord, you know, seeing more levies that are all, that's just absolutely terrible, running around with peasant gear most of the time. But these guys, they are certainly not that. However, they do not have bows, as you can see here. They don't have bows at all. So this is actually really, really good for us, because there are 41 of those guys here. So we shouldn't have too many issues, at least with that. Did we actually create all of our... Did we create all of these things already? I don't know. I don't know. I'm for some reason blanking out whenever we're creating these trebuchets. I don't know what's going on with that. All right, well... whatever the case, hopefully they're not going to use that new strategy that I was talking about earlier that they actually use to great effect, where we basically are able to destroy a lot of their ballistas, but then their ballistas are just able to continuously be rebuilt over and over and over again. It does seem as though we've gotten through it, so that's very, very nice. That means that we're not going to lose any trebuchet. Oh, actually, wait, maybe we're going to lose one of them. As you can see, we do have a 1%er here, and he does seem to be surviving, surprisingly enough. Yeah, very, very nice. But yeah, they're actually constructing these catapults very quickly too, so we do want to try to be a bit faster here, you know, try to get ourselves directly inside And the walls have been destroyed. So now all we need to do is destroy that. There we go. Okay. Fantastic. Now we should be able to go in there. Let me actually just see, make sure that we're all good. I might as well just level up this this archer that we have here, and then we can otherwise just go straight on in. I'm not going to use any siege towers or battering rams or anything like that. I don't think we have to really worry about that, do we? No, I don't think so. And once again, we do have a desert map. Unfortunate that it's not a forest. But yeah, obviously, as I've said to you before, it is a work in progress, okay? It is a work in progress, early in development. I just want to stress that again because obviously we're not seeing the final product here, and we're not even seeing an advanced version. No, we're seeing a very early access version here, very early in development, okay? So, you know, the vision is there, you know, the vision is absolutely 100% there. Okay, so let's actually see here. If I can make my way inside, at least it's not as blinding as the other map. That's all I can say. Whoa, okay, wait a minute. This is dangerous. Oh no, I am starting to rethink my life choices now because I literally decided on an Uruk when I knew I was going to be going up against elves to not have a shield. I don't know why I decided on that, but I guess I like the movement speed. Yes, I like the movement speed, that's what it is. Anyway, let's see what we can do here, because I feel like right now things are not going too badly. I would have expected actually a lot more danger. Oh, there we go. There's the danger. There's the danger. We are not the danger. We are not the one who knocks. We are indeed the one that answers the door and gets punched in the face. That's probably the case. Alright, wait a minute. Are they up here? Nope. None up there. We do have one over here. This is a very... I gotta... You know one thing? This is a very cool layout for them. And actually, if we hadn't destroyed the walls, I think we would actually be in trouble. This would be exceptionally difficult. These fellows actually have really, really good combat skills, by the way, so I'm not entirely sure why I'm doing this. There we go. This is kind of when I wish I had a ranged weapon of some kind. This is a very... I gotta say, I don't think I've ever seen this layout. This is an extremely cool siege layout, despite it not being particularly, you know, thematic to the faction in question. It is actually very, very dangerous. So if you were to come in here at any other time, you'd probably have a reasonably dangerous... no, don't... Oh, yeah, I mean, how am I supposed to deal with these guys? Absolutely impossible. Okay, so... I think we should be fine. I mean, my Uruks are actually, you know what? Yeah, maybe. I'm actually not entirely sure, to be honest. I mean, yeah, we have the numbers, right? We have the numbers. So technically, we should be okay. But you could see here, look at how much they're able to do. They've already killed 100 of us. Maybe I want to actually move. You know what? Let's actually go. Gonna try to retreat here, because obviously I thought to myself, oh yeah, you know, numbers are gonna really carry us through this. But you can see clearly that is incorrect. That is 100% incorrect. You could see how much damage they were able to do to us, despite having such a small amount of troops. And that just goes to show, elves, they are so powerful. They are very, very powerful. And I mean, you know, you can expect that, of course, because of their party capacity. If they have a large party capacity and one elf takes up 2 spaces, 3 spaces, 4 spaces, whatever it is, because I obviously don't know the exact, you know, calculation right now, but if it does, there's a reason why it does. And it's just very, very harsh, as you see there. They were very, very powerful there, and I'm going to have to recover, and then we'll move back on in and see if we can maybe help out our forces a bit more at the front lines next time. Alright, so here we go. This is going to be our second attempt, and we're going to see if we can maybe do a little bit better this time. As I said before the cutaway, we're actually going to make sure that we stay a bit closer to our forces this time, because I feel like that probably makes a little bit more sense. Because the funny thing is, I'm used to being able to outskill and outgear our opponents, as in dealing with the forces of Gondor and Rohan and so on and so forth. We don't really have too much to worry about in regards to skill differentials, whereas this is completely different. This is literally like dealing... This is kind of like being on the opposite side, if you know what I mean. It's kind of like being, you know, Gondor against Uruks, I guess. I mean, not to that much of a degree though, because to be honest, the only Uruks that you're going to see that will be extremely powerful are the highest tier ones, which we have leveled up, of course. The first levels are going to, well, they're going to be pretty bad, obviously. I mean, that is to be expected. Okay, hopefully, yes, there we go. Nice. Rivendell Nobles. Wow. Okay, that's pretty crazy. Nice, nice. Okay, if we can just eliminate them, there we go. We'll be pleased. Very nice. Okay, wow, I'm actually surprised. What is actually going on here? These fellows, they have almost perfect timing to lower their guard and allow me to hit them. I think it must be a coordination issue on their part, because they're thinking, because of their advanced two-handed, well, one-handed, two-handed skill, whatever they're wanting to use, they think because of that they are going to be able to beat me in terms of attack speed. But because I'm using one of the elven weapons, it's actually making things extremely amusing, because it means that I'm able to beat them like that, surprisingly enough. I mean, obviously they're very damaging anyway, and they are going to absolutely destroy us most of the time. But again, we have obviously eliminated the walls. This went a lot better this time, because I obviously helped our forces. Whoa, yeah. Trolls coming through. Yeah, funnily enough, our trolls did not help that much, even in the first attempt. That was remarkably, well, useless for some reason, but yeah. I think overheads are probably going to be the way to go too. It feels to me like, yes, we can do horizontals, but in these close quarters, overheads are going to pay off much better. I mean, funnily enough, I don't even need to do anything here. My guys are just going to clobber them and should be absolutely fine. Yeah, I gotta say, I really like this layout. I think this layout is extremely cool, despite it being from the I think is it from the base game? I think it is from the base game, but I've never seen this before, which is actually kind of shocking considering. But yeah, I've actually never seen this layout before, so if it is a custom layout or something like that, then, you know, props to you. But if it isn't, then, well, I'm surprised I haven't seen it. So yeah, but this is definitely going to be something that I'm going to be very interested to see what they decide to do with the elven siege layouts and stuff like that. Obviously, this is not the main city, technically. Thranduil's Hold is actually the main city, so it could very well be that we'll see something unique there, but I wouldn't think so, because Helm's Deep is not done. So I would assume that obviously the elven places are not done either, so that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. It's just very cool to finally see some of the elven units themselves in action here, because obviously we did take a look at their stats earlier on in the series, and they were extremely intimidating. But these fellows do appear to be rather simple to deal with, because they don't have that many archers. If they had a lot more archers and we didn't take down the walls, we would be facing some pretty harsh competition here, and we'd probably get ourselves completely murdered just by looking in their direction. But as it stands, that is not the case. I actually wonder, how long does it take these guys to level up? I can't access the encyclopedia right now. Yeah, I'm going to take a look at the encyclopedia after this, because I'd like to see how much experience it's actually going to take them to level. Also, I don't yes, I will have to retreat here, technically. Because all the units have been eliminated, but not... Yeah, there we go. Okay, no, there were actually 3 still, but that's okay. Yeah, that's fine. 93 renown, and we can now rescue this guy for some reason. Okay, that's actually pretty hilarious. And I'm not entirely sure if I should even bother taking these guys. I think I should. Does that give me an opportunity to take a look at their experience? No. Okay, how much does it actually take them? Yes, so it's 7,500 experience. Okay, so I'm already having ideas swimming in my head about character builds that would be extremely useful with Elven-based units. And then you gotta, yeah, so basically what you want to try to do is you want to try to get to Thingol's heirs. These guys would be fantastic because 500 bow skill. I mean, you could also go for the horse archer variant if you want. Actually, they're not even horse archers. They're cavalry, aren't they? Yeah, they're basically just heavy cavalry. They're not actually horse archers, which is kind of weird. But yeah, these fellows all have. Yeah, there's a gladesman as well, obviously. So the thing is, I think for me personally, I think going for these guys into the Sylvan Border Warden, into Thingol's heirs, that's going to be the play, in my opinion. That's going to be the play. The reason why that's the play for me is because even if they have ranged characters up against them, they'll just be able to snipe them. They'll hopefully be able to snipe them because, I mean, look at this. They've got 400 skill, 450 skill, and then 500 skill in bows. And, well, the question is 7,500 experience to 8,900 experience to 9,300 experience required for each individual level up from tier 7, tier 8, tier 9 respectively. And then obviously to tier 10. Yeah, so that's going to be maybe pretty hard to get. I actually don't know. I mean, let's actually take a look in comparison how it is for our Uruks to level up. Because if we take a look at that, we're going to have a much broader idea of how much it actually is. We can recruit Athelian Ranger elites from here for 14,000 as well, which is actually relatively nice. And here is an engineer companion. So we're going to be getting him. There we go. Hello there. Wow, yeah, that was very lucky, actually. How did we get so lucky to find this guy? I don't know, but there you have it, I guess. Kind of pleased about that, I suppose. And so we did actually level up our charm skill too, which does allow us to get camaraderie, which I personally think is one of the lesser good perks. And I don't know if am I being too kind when I say that? I don't know. But basically double the relation gain for helping lords in battle. I mean, I guess that's kind of okay, but yeah, +1 companion limit. I mean, yeah, that's... Yeah, well, I'm not going to say anything, okay? I'm just going to move on from there. Okay, so this fellow obviously does need stuff. Ooh, these are amazing. I wonder whether he can actually wear them without any problems. Because obviously he's a human, so maybe his body cannot handle it. Maybe they're too powerful for him or something like that. I actually don't know, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, you can see here that the armor that they have is also fantastic. Really, really nice. Despite us actually being able to destroy them very, very easily. But that's obviously because I am using a very, very good weapon myself. So that is something to bear in mind. Does he have any bow skill? Does it matter whether he has bow skill? He has 50 in bows. So technically he could use a bow. And we could give him one. We could give him one of these, which is actually kind of incredible. So we could give him that. He does not have any access to arrows, however. So I guess the best thing for us to do is to go in here and buy some 100,000? 100,000 in gold? Wow. Okay, that's actually kind of crazy. Yeah, so we have Mirkwood longbows here. And you can use them on a horse. That one can be used on a horse. Okay, this one can be used on a horse. This one cannot be. So this has... Okay, so I'm a little bit weirded out by this because the Mirkwood bow, right? The Mirkwood bow has 76 piercing damage. But the Noble bow, which can be used on a horse, has 80 damage and less speed, less missile speed and all that stuff. And then the Noble longbow has 95 damage, which is literally 20 more, pretty much, than the Mirkwood longbow. So, yeah, I don't know. For me personally, I would probably still use the Noble bow in this case. But does the... I've got a question here. Does the missile speed increase the damage that dramatically? Because if it does, then obviously that's fine, and that's absolutely perfect. But I obviously don't know about that. Okay, so I guess we'll try it out. You know, we'll try it out when we play elves sometime. So yeah, what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to purchase some cheap-ish arrows. I'm not going to spend 100,000 on arrows, despite them being very, very powerful, of course. But this guy doesn't even have particularly good, particularly good stats or anything like that, so I don't really want to go all out with it. And as you can see, we do have Legolas's body armor here. Whoa, look at that. I could literally buy Legolas's body armor for 220,000 and Thranduil's as well. And this would be insane. Like, really, this is actually crazy, crazy good. And I would love, you know what? I'm having a hankering for playing as an elf. I feel like we should probably do that sometime soon. But I will not be doing that just yet. I think maybe a couple more episodes here, and then we'll see what we can do about that. Because what I want to do, ideally, is... Ooh, that sword is looking fantastic too, by the way. That sword is looking absolutely amazing. But yeah, what I want to do, ideally, is try out our hand against the dwarves as well, right? Try our hand against the dwarves, see what we can do against them. And then we'll see what we can do after that. We've got some very, very cool pole arms here too. But yeah, Legolas's sword, as you can see, is insane. Is 109 damage for a one-handed sword. Yeah, that's really, really incredible. And yeah, we're actually doing pretty fine here otherwise. Okay, so let's... What else do we want to do now? Well, I would like to recruit some more people. So I think what we're going to do is just wait here for a little bit of time. You never know. Maybe some people are going to head over here and try to besiege us. It would be kind of fun if they decide to do that. I feel like it would be kind of nice. As you can see, the elves are really on top of upgrading their stuff in comparison to the men. They're, you know, all tier 3 and stuff like that for the most part. And we're otherwise now going to be moving on to Thranduil's halls. Maybe we're going to see something unique. If we don't, that's absolutely fine, of course. But if we do, then that's going to be so fun. Alright, so just before we go into the siege at Thranduil's halls, we're actually going to take a look, like I said, at the experience gain for Uruks. And we're going to see how much it takes to level them up from tier 1. Yes, obviously from tier 1 you're going to require basically nothing. So 600 experience in comparison to the to the elves needing 7,500, but obviously they start at tier 7. So they're immediately good and combat ready. And then they go into fighters. Let's just say that the Uruks want to go into infantry mostly. So they go into fighters, that requires 1,150. Then Uruk warriors, which requires 2,200. And then we're going to go into swordsmen, which requires 3,300. And then into champions, which is 4,700. Berserkers, 6,100. And then they will go into Nazgai. And yeah, I gotta say, that is a lot easier. Let's just say that. I feel like that is a lot easier than getting the elves leveled up, because one thing we have to bear in mind, of course, with the elves is that they have fewer troops, which means that less of them are going to survive if you're in a full-blown, full-on big battle. Like a big encounter is going to be very bad for them unless they can eliminate a lot of the enemy troops with minimal casualties, because that's the thing. That's the challenge with the elves, in my opinion. It's going to be very, very difficult to keep them all alive, and if they do die, then all of their experience, of course, is lost, which is a big, big issue. But anyway, we now have, obviously, not a surgeon. We now have an engineer, so I'm going to put him on there. And also this. Look at this amazing fief. I can imagine the layout. I can imagine the layout in the actual siege layout if it is the same as what the sprite is on the map. Then it's going to be dangerous. Oh yeah, it's going to be very, very dangerous. And it's probably going to be one of those things that will require loads and loads of people to throw them at, you know. I'd actually like to know, where are the goblins, by the way? Are goblins actually available in this game? Can you actually get goblins, or should we say smaller variants of orcs? Because right now all we're mostly seeing is Uruks. So I'm kind of wondering, because Gundabad obviously they kind of specialize in that sort of thing. They kind of specialize in smaller variants of units, as far as I remember from previous forays into Middle-earth. But yeah, I mean, who knows? We'll see. But yeah, this layout, I mean, if this is how it's going to be in the actual siege layout, I'm not talking about right now, of course, because maybe it is not actually available yet. But let's just say that it is. Let's just say that it is going to be like this in whatever siege layout it ends up being. And this is going to be so difficult. I mean, imagine it. Imagine you have your forces and you're trying to get through the walls. Maybe you haven't destroyed the walls or anything like that, and then all of a sudden you've got to cross this bottlenecked bridge, which I have to admit I feel like is going to be insanely damaging. Insanely damaging, especially with the amount of archers they're most likely going to have here as well. I mean, obviously these guys, they do have a couple of Sylvan Sentinels, they do have some levies, they have some nobles, but their garrison is basically nothing. They pretty much have nothing here. Nothing that can really do an exceptional amount of damage to us or anything like that. And obviously they have a significant amount of food. Now, that is actually one thing that the elves are 100% going to have a massive advantage on, is food supply. Every single time you think that you're going to starve out an elven fief, think again. Unless it's something that they've conquered, of course. If they've conquered it, then it is maybe likely that their food supply is going to be a little bit less plentiful, but because of the way that they can fill out the militia and the garrison with so few units, their food supplies are going to last just that much longer. Maybe 2, 3, 4 times as long, which is actually pretty strong if you think about it, you know? Anyway, let's, oh yeah, nice. Okay, just took 66 damage. That's wonderful. Oh, okay. Oh, it's the same layout. Oh, okay, fine. It's the same layout. So basically, this is kind of like the placeholder for the elven fiefs, and that's more than fine for me, because this is actually a really, like I said before, I personally think that this is a really good layout. As you see there, I just got absolutely murdered, absolutely 100% done, and I think we're probably going to be. I feel like we should probably retreat, to be honest. I feel like we should probably retreat because it feels to me like we are going to have huge problems actually doing anything here. Unless I'm wrong? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, I'm coming around the side here. Yeah, no, we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna get out of here. As you can see, this layout is dangerous, no matter whether you're coming in here with, you know, really high tier troops or not. I actually have more than half of my army is very, very strong, but that does not matter, apparently. That does not matter, because these guys, they are just very, very powerful. As I said, I am having a hankering for playing as some elves, but I have a feeling I'm not going to do very well. I have a feeling it's going to be very difficult for us to get used to it, because we're always the underdog then in almost every single respect, because we're always going to be running around with very small amounts of troops. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.